Now we go to our last pre-final of the race weekend. It is DD2 and DD2 Masters. Here is your starting grid. Martin van Leeuwen and Enzo Bol make it an all-Dutch front row, being closely intertwined throughout the heats yesterday. Jakob Bezel and Maxim Shurko will be on row number 2. Victor Frostbay and Axel Sarniala will be on row number 3. Maxim Didix and Peter Bezel will be on row 4. DD2 Masters pole sitter Nicolas Picot will be on the inside of row number 5. Alongside him will be Patrick Snolls Lochmelis, Carl Gustav Borgard and Lucas Pernod. That is row 6. Nicolas Guillaume, aka Unamas, will not have Manuel Tension alongside him. I've seen Manuel just walking down just outside of the main race control building just very shortly. So there will be a space there on row 7. Christophe Capitan, Sebastian Schou, Michael Becker, Dennis Thum, Martin Stankiewicz and Jules Cousin will round out the top 20. And there is an issue. That is for Mats Johan Overhoff, who's trying to do something to the steering column. And he's due to start 24th. David Outlechner, Edward Matthews, Leonardo Baccaglini. Overhoff due to start 24th. Philip Moitzi, Alexander Scheiblecker, Tony Hogg, Lucas... Well, Philip Moitzi not taking part in this. So Alexander Scheiblecker, Tony Hogg, Lucas de Vera, Igor Mukin, and Kamil Kubera. Looks like Thomas Birstins is not showing on the grid either. So we will be down to effectively 28 drivers. Thomas Birstins is starting from the dummy grid. I've just seen him waiting there. So once the drivers get released for the start, he will then be released from the dummy grid. So, as you can see in the picture-in-picture on your screens at home, folks, there is Tomasz Birstins, who was very, very quick at the Drift and Go facility at Šiauliai in Lithuania for the opening round of Rotax Max Challenge Nordic this season, which heads to Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. The second round will head to Ropatsi, just outside of Riga at the 333 Sport Complex in 2 weeks' time. So 14 minutes on the timer plus an additional lap. We'll then decide our grid for the final, and that will conclude the racing action here this afternoon at 3:15 p.m. Drivers being instructed to slow, and now they slow to an absolute crawl. It's a standard procedure here in DD2 and Masters as they go up the rev range. Are we ready? Are we steady? Lights are out first time into turn 1. Van Leeuwen gets the whole shot. Bol slots into second position. Jakob Bezel trying to hold on to third place as he's got Maxim Shurko from Lithuania, Axel Sarniala. Victor Frostbay looks to have moved down into sixth place. As Tony Hogg getting his elbows out a little bit, trying to close in on the 5.29 of Kamil Kubera as they go through into turn 5 for the opening tour. Now into 6 and 7. Go the drivers. Van Leeuwen leads the way. So Tomasz Birstins has been released, so we got 29 drivers, non-starters from Philip Moitzi and Manuel Tenschert, both from Austria. So after the opening lap, Martin van Leeuwen from the Netherlands for Shippers Racing crosses the line just ahead of Enzo Bol. Just over 0.17 of a second separate the top two. Jakob Bezel in third, Maxim Shurko, Axel Sarniala. Peter Bezel drops to 10th behind Nicolas Picot as the 4.23 of Jakob Bezel trying to wrestle with the steering wheel going through into turn number 4 to try and get past Enzo Bol for second. But he's coming under real pressure from the youngster from Lithuania, Maxim Shurko, looking for the opportunity to get through. A previous DD2 champion here in the Euro Trophy. So Axel Sarniala finds himself down in 5th position as the drivers make their way through turn number 11. Now 12, into 13, and then over the slight incline at the top part of the circuit on the start-finish straight. Van Leeuwen still controlling proceedings. As we come across the line, And now Jakob Bezel looks for the inside move on Enzo Bol through turn 2. Bol keeps it round the outside and stays in second. Saniala looks up the inside of Maxim Shurko through turn 2, but the Finn can't get past. Maxim Dirix now in 7th. Nicolas Picot now up into 8th as Patrick Knowles Lochmelis drops down into 9th. Now through into turn number 8. Van Leeuwen had a lead of just under 2.5 tenths of a second after the opening couple of laps. 11.5 minutes still to go, plus an additional lap of racing. So Van Leeuwen looking to stride away into the distance and consolidate a comfortable and manageable lead. Lap 3 now completed. Fastest lap of the race is by the race leader. Now it's Nicolas Picot in 8th position, who's 1.7 seconds off of the race leader. Picot is within 2 tenths of the DD2 driver in front of him. That is Belgium's Maxim Dirix. Enzo Bol again starting to defend ahead of Jakob Bezel. Shurko waiting in the wings for his opportunity to get through on the Czech Republic driver as they go through the fast right-hand sweeper here at turn number 6. Behind Christophe Capitan, there's a couple of drivers trying to make some moves up the order. Capitan currently 2nd in DD2 Masters. Dennis Thum rounds out the top 3. He's 17th at the moment, ahead of current points leader coming into this race weekend, Martinas Stankiewicz from the Lithuanian squad representing Birel ART. He's currently 18th. Bakaglini and Scheiblecker round out the top 20. And Patrick Knowles Lochmelis looks to have dropped all the way down to the back end of the field. He might have had a technical problem, and he's parked it. The lead now between Martin van Leeuwen from the Netherlands and his countryman Enzo Bol from SP Motorsport, covered by just over 4 tenths of a second after the opening 4 laps. 9 minutes 55 still to go, plus an additional lap of racing. Lucas Bernal now up into the top 10. Carl Gustav Borgard 11th, Ed Matthews 12th, 13th Sebastian Schul. As there is a change, that is for, well, that is not a change, that is still one driver staying in 4th position. That is Maxim Shurko. He's got Axel Saniala, Victor Frostbait, Maxim Dirix, Nicolas Picot. Keep your eyes on Peter Bezel and Lucas Bernal from Canada, who round out the top 10 across the line to complete the 5th lap of this race. As you can hear the pops and bangs from the Rotax Max Evo 125cc engines as they hurtle their way across the start-finish line and go into the sweeper at turn number 1. Dirix defends against Pico into turn 4. David Outlechner, who had a disastrous heat stay, rounds out the top 20 behind Dennis Thum, who at the moment is now 4th in DD2 Masters. Picot 8th, Capitan 15th, Stankiewicz 17th, Thum in 19th. Next up, it's Michael Becker in 23rd. That's the top 5 in DD2 Masters. Tomasz Birstins, having started from the dummy grid, now 21st. Or 27th, ahead of Tony Hogg. 8 minutes and 20 still to go. Van Leeuwen expands his lead by a fraction to just over half a second. Enzo Bol still holding on for 2nd place, but is just over 3 tenths ahead of the Czech Republic's Jakob Bezel. So with 7 minutes and 50 seconds on the timer remaining, the sun has retracted. There is cloud cover overhead. Temperature is starting to drop. As all, little bit of a change there. Axel Saniala through turn 13. That was on Maxim Shurko for 4th place. The Finn has made it through, and here comes Victor Frostbay. Shurko looks up the inside through turn number 1, but Victor Frostbay has the real run of momentum. So does Maxim Dirix, the youngster from Lithuania. Lithuania now has 3 hard chargers, make that 5 hard chargers behind him. Shurko has got Victor Frostbay, Maxim Dirix, Nicolas Picot, who leads DD2 Masters. Along with that, Peter Bezel Lucas Pernod, and who's just behind them? The 437 of Carl Gustav Borgard from Denmark. Halfway through the race, we still have 7 minutes to go, plus an additional lap. Now things are going to get a little bit feisty as up the inside. That was on Pico, that was Peter Bezel. Peter Bezel now up into 8th overall. Did Lucas Pernod manage to get a sniff and get an opportunity? No, he didn't. Pernod had a very, very good race weekend at Val d'Argentat until finals day. Now he's looking up the inside. Textbook from the Canadian. Through on the Frenchman. And Lucas Pernod also wearing the KR Sport Sunday best. It's all white for the boys that normally wear purple. Just over 6 minutes remain, and the class of racing in this pre-final has been nothing if short of absolutely spectacular. 100% spot on. Overtakes being done at the right place at the right time with full 110% commitment from every single driver so far. 28 drivers still running. Tony Hogg rounding out the field. Patrick Snowles, Loch Menace, unfortunately we lost on lap number 3. 5.5 minutes still remain in this pre-final plus an additional lap. You can see that in the background, just by the quarry on the left-hand side of the, well, the far part of the circuit, just off of turn 1 and turn 2 and 3, there are some darker clouds starting to show. Picot now down into, well, he's got to be very, very careful as Nicolas Picot. The reason being is Martinez Tankevicius is on the move. Leonardo Baccaglini at the minute, who currently is running in 14th ahead of Tankevicius, has just put in the fastest lap. Tankevicius has also made his way up to 15th position. He's got past Christophe Capita. There's a 3-way scrap for second place because Dennis Thum is 17th. And what's more, the gap that separates that trio at the moment is just under a second. Van Leeuwen now puts in the fastest lap of the race with 4.5 minutes to go. We've completed 10 laps, and he's just put in a 55.006 lap time as the 24-year-old from the Netherlands, based out of Zolder, and has extended his lead to just over 3/4 of a second ahead of Enzo Bol. Jakob Bezel starting to go quicker. Axel Sarniala was the second quickest in the top 4, as the 4:51 of Jules Cousin running with Dam's Racing Team, he has dropped all the way down to the back end of the field. Could that be another retirement that we have on the cards here with just under 4 minutes remaining? Van Leeuwen's extended his lead, and he's just put in the first sub. Well, he's one of 2 drivers, along with Leonardo Baccaglini, that have both gone and put in a 54.9 second lap time. Van Leeuwen has got a faster lap time by 32 thousandths of a second. 54.913 plays 54.945. Baccaglini still currently running in 14th. Tankevicius now has got a gap of 1.5 seconds over Christophe Capita, but more importantly, he's got a further 1.5 tenths between himself, Capita, and Dennis Thum, who still runs in 17th. 18th is Nicolas Guillaume, aka Uno Mas. Ask his friends at Shippers Racing about that one, including Maxime Dedix, who runs P7. David Altlechner now up to 19th. Alexander Scheiblecker rounds out the top 20. Then we got Mats-Johan Overhoff, Michael Becker, Tomasz Birstins now up to 23rd. Ahead of Kamil Kubera, Igor Mukin, Lucas de Vera, and Tony Hogg. Jules Cousin on lap number 9 is a confirmed retirement. And there is Ed Matthews in the 4.58. He's got Sebastian Schue and Leonardo Baccaglini chasing him down. The gap between those drivers was about 4 tenths. Coming over the stripe last time. There they are going through into turn 7. 2 minutes and 20 plus an additional lap. You can now see there is a lot of dark cloud cover edging towards turns 12, 13, well, 11, 12 and 13. So there is darkness starting to spread its way towards the circuit. Meanwhile, at the sharper end of the field, Van Leeuwen now has a lead of nearly 1.2 seconds. Got just under 2 minutes to go, plus an additional lap. Bol still in second, Bezel in third, Sarniala, Shurko, Victor Frostbay. Still rounding out the top 6 positions. Baccaglini looks to have gotten past Sebastian Schou. That will be for 13th place. Nicolas Guillaume, in the meantime, has got past Christophe Capitan and is 2.5 seconds behind Martin Stankovic, who is still second in DD2 Masters. Pico rounds out the top 10 with 1 minute and 15 on the timer. Breeze has slightly picked up here at Marienborg at Karting de Fagne. So less than 60 seconds to go, plus one additional lap. Ed Matthews hanging on for 12th position. Baccaglini is trying to chase him down and was a 10th and a half behind. Outlechner is all. That's getting a bit close, nearly sidewall to sidewall between Baccaglini and Matthews. Heading into turn number 5. And Carl Gustav Borgard is right with them still. Well, that's Sebastian Schou in the 409, right with them. Line is turned through turn number 8. 25 seconds to go on the timer, plus an additional lap. We'll have 2 laps to go the minute that Martin Van Leeuwen crosses the start-finish line. The time is fast, ticking away. When is Van Leeuwen going to cross the line? It's now. 12 seconds to go. And we're on to lap number 16 out of 17. Timer now counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Timer has expired. Baccaglini trying to get through on Ed Matthews, and he's going to look for the move up the inside into turn 2. They bang wheels. Baccaglini is through, and look who is right behind them. It's Martinas Stankovic from Lithuania in the 5:33. So now the drivers make their way through turn 5 into turn 6. One more lap to go after this, and then we come to the end of this morning's action before we go into the lunch break. And then we head into finals time at 2 p.m. this afternoon. One more lap to go as Van Leeuwen crosses the start-finish line. What's the gap between him and Enzo Bol? It is nearly a second and a half. But still, this battle, Baccaglini is pulled away from Ed Matthews. He's got Sebastian Schou looking to the outside. Martin Stankovic will have plenty of experience to see how he can get past these two. Oh, and they both bang wheels. They're up sidewalls. Are they going to run wide? Matthews does. Schou gets through. Stankovic waiting just to have his opportunity. And Ed Matthews knew he was there and countered it very, very quickly on the run through into turn number 5. But there is your race leader, Martin Van Leeuwen from the Netherlands. He now knows he can put it on a little bit of cruise control for an early Sunday afternoon drive in the countryside, because winning in the pre-final, it's another victory for the Netherlands. Martin Van Leeuwen in the 403. It's a Dutch 1-2 with Enzo Bol. Jakob Bezel takes third. Axel Sarniala fourth. Maxime Shurko, Victor Frostbay, Peter Bezel, Maxime Dirix, Lucas Pernaut ran out the top 9. Nicolas Picot takes another victory. 4 in a row for the Frenchman, rounding out the top 10. Carl Gustav Borgard in 11th, head of Leonardo Baccaglini, Sebastian Schou, Edward Matthews, Martin Stankovic, Nicolas Guillaume, Dennis Thum in 17th, Christophe Capitan in 18th, David Outlechner 19th, Alexander Scheiblecker, Mats Johan Overhoff, Michael Becker, Tomasz Birstins, Igor Mukin, Kamil Kubera, Lucas de Vera, Tony Hogg, rounding out the 27 that completed all 17 laps of racing. Lap 9, we lost Jules Cousin. Lap 2, we lost Patrick Knowles Lockmellis with Manuel Tenchert and Philip Moitzi, a non-starter.